Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 52 of the Cleveland Spiders franchise here on MLB The Show 21 for the PlayStation 5. Yes, the team officially known now as the Cleveland Spiders will kick off spring training today as we take a last look at some players fighting for roster spots. We'll take a look at position battles and get our first look at some of the new players on our Cleveland Spiders squad. Now, I decided to go with the Spiders. I found this out the past couple episodes, and as far as the uniforms and the logos, I did find these in the the logo vault on MLB The Show 21. All you gotta do is search Cleveland or search Spiders, and you'll see these pop up. So props to whoever got this logo and these different logos for the uniforms, because those are the ones that I am rocking with. Here's a look at our 40-man roster. A lot of players you will see in spring training today. I won't highlight necessarily everybody. I'm just going to highlight just the starting roster for the first game. Then we're going to go into individual position battles of players who could make the roster and who could not make the roster. So we'll start it off with the very first game of spring training. This is the very first game that they will be known as the Cleveland Spiders, as the Spiders face their cross-state rivals, Cincinnati Reds. Both these squads made it to their championship series respectively last year, except the Spiders lost to the Astros in the ALCS, and the Reds lost to the eventual World Series champion Dodgers in the NLCS. It'll be Shane Bieber who gets the opening day start for Cleveland, the defending AL MVP and two-time Cy Young Award winner who had a phenomenal season last year. Start off his day against Ken Fernandez. Now, this is a Red squad that is hoping to get back to where they were last year. They made a couple of moves in the offseason. They did lose catcher Tucker Barnhart, but they did make an addition who we'll touch on in a second, as that's a leadoff double. And that brings up Jonathan India, the NL Rookie of the Year from last year. 0-2 to India. He swings and misses on a curveball, though, so he will strike out for the first outs. And that, take a look at the Reds lineup. Here is a look. The only really difference, they did add Kyle Seager into their lineup this offseason. They did lose Tucker Barnhart, so Tyler Stevenson becomes a starting catcher for the Cincinnati Reds. 3-2 to Castellanos now, and he's going to draw a walk on what was a 14-pitch at-bat. So Castellanos works the count, draws his walk, puts runners on first and second for Mike Moustakas, who takes a 1-0 fastball the other way, and it clears the wall out there in the left field. A 3-run shot here in the first inning for Bieber giving up. Maybe he's just a little bit rusty. He hasn't played ball in about 4 months, so he's probably a little rusty, but 3-0 early for the Reds. Next batter to Eugenio Suarez. He will chop this one over the first. Naylor has it, and he will step on the bag. So that was 3 runs for the Reds. On the mound for the Reds will be Luis Castillo, their ace, who had a 2.99 ERA last season, 1.18 whip. He'll start off against our leadoff hitter, Ahmed Rosario. Look at those nice white Spider outfits. First pitch to Rosario, he swings and hits a fastball up the middle into center field, so both teams starting off with respective base hits. Next up, Donovan Solano, who could be the new second baseman this season. He signed a 1-year deal in the offseason to kind of push Tyler Freeman and see if he is ready for the majors as he gets on base because of an error. So they'll say E6, not E3, but instead on the shortstop. And then we get to see Jose Ramirez, who we did not see since August of last year. Remember, he went down with an injury, didn't have him for a whole postseason run. So it's going to be nice to have him back in the lineup. And he chops it over, beats out the throw at first, so only 1 out. So that'll put runners on the corners for Franmil Reyes, who takes a 1-2 pitch and swings and misses on the circle change. So big strikeout to Reyes. That brings up Eddie Rosario, who did re-sign on a 1-year, $8.5 million contract in the offseason. Full count, he cannot connect on the circle change as well, so the Spiders get nothing in their first inning. Rodeo top 2, here is the newest Cincinnati Red, Kyle Seager. He only hit 211 last year, so hoping the Reds are hoping he can get back to his old form as he swings and misses. And then the newest catcher, Tyler Stevenson, steps up to the dish, but he has the same fate. He swings and misses on strike number 3. Go now to the bottom of the second. Here's Adam Eaton, one of our newest right fielders, signed a 1-year, $3.2 million contract in the offseason. He will platoon in right field this season with Jordan Luplow. He draws a walk that brings up Andres Jimenez, who swings and misses. So Castillo was dealing early. Bottom 3, though, 2 outs for Jose Ramirez, who takes a slider deep to right center, and this one's going to end up in the bullpen. The Spiders have their first run of the ball game. It's a solo shot by Jose Ramirez. It is so nice to have Jose Ramirez back in the lineup. Hasn't played in roughly 6 months, but it looks like early he has not lost a step. Go a little later into this one, the 4th inning now. Anthony Gose will step up, a left-handed reliever. We saw him for a little bit last season towards the middle, about June-ish. Had 3.86 ERA in his 18 appearances. And he gets Seager to swing and miss on a slider. So nice inning of work for Gose. And the next inning, Cal Quantrill will take the mound. He will inherit some runners, but he gets through the 6th, so he will go into, well, actually he gets through the 5th, he will join in the 6th, where he will get my Moustakas to swing and miss. Cal Quantrill is a pitcher this year who I'm not sure if will make the team on opening day. He pitched very good in the regular season, but didn't pitch so good in the postseason, but he does nice work here in the 6th. Bottom 6 now, Spiders only have 1 run, but here's a leadoff single by Franmil Reyes into right field. Now we'll bring up a pinch hitter in Bobby Bradley. Now, Bobby Bradley was called up last year in September call-ups. We didn't get to see him in an actual gameplay episode. Only hit about 250s, but he is a very powerful left-handed bat who could be the first baseman of the future, so I'm interested to see what he does. He pops out, though, and then the $12.5 million man, Roberto Perez, will line out to center, so nothing in that inning for the Spiders. That brings up Tony Watson, the left-handed reliever that we signed to a 1-year contract as well from the Angels to kind of take over that Oliver Perez role. He will step up in the 7th. He's got 1 out, and he'll get this one to be the 2nd out. So a chopper is shortstop. And then with 2 outs, Tim Collier, who's now at the top of the lineup, he will hit one right back to Watson softly, so he gets through the 7th inning, no problem. 8th inning, how about this guy returning? Emmanuel Clase. Haven't seen him since last May when he went down with a head fracture. He was our go-to man early in the season, but got injured, never saw him again, and he is back here in 2022, so that's definitely a big plus to our bullpen. He does give off a single on his very first at-bat, and then Joey Votto, who is still a Cincinnati Red, will come off the bench here with a pinch hit. 1-2 count to Votto, and he has a nice inside-out swing, puts this one down the left field line. So Clase, who hasn't pitched in quite a long time, about 9 months, gives up 2 singles early. And the next batter will bloop a single into right field. So that's back-to-back-to-back singles given up by Clase. He's got bases loaded, nobody out. Next batter, Nick Delmonico. Full count, chopper over to first. Nice play by Bradley. Goes home, steps back on the bag. Nice 3-2-3 double play. Good defense shown by Bobby Bradley. So now 2 outs. Jose Garcia pops this one up into shallow outfield. And with bases loaded, no outs, Clase gets through it without surrendering a run. We're going to go into the 9th now. Our offense has kind of been quiet today. Lucas Sims steps on for the Reds trying to get a save. Here is Roberto Perez, who returned this offseason to be our catcher. 0-2 curveball. Times it up well, but can't really do anything with that. It's out number 1 out there right. The next batter up will be a pinch hitter. It'll be Will Benson stepping up to the plate. We saw Benson briefly last season. He was a 6'7" right fielder who's got some pop to him and a nice bat. He takes a full count pitch up the middle. It's knocked down, but he will beat out the throw at first. Don't know if we'll see Benson on the opening day roster, but could be a call-up in case of injury. He's on first, but then Jimenez will ground into the old 4-6-3 double play, and that'll end this ball game. The Reds beat the Spiders on spring training opening day by a final score of 3-1. So the Spiders come out flat on offense. Only had 5 hits. Bieber did not have a good 3 innings, but it is spring training. They did have Moustakas give them all of their RBIs, and then we had the solo shot by Jose Ramirez. Next game we'll jump into is this game against the Chicago Cubs in the Cactus League, technically on the road to Chicago. I did not use spring training stadiums, by the way. Speaking of stadiums, if anybody knows of a good progressive field stadium without all of the Indians, logos and stuff, please let me know in the comment section. I've been looking for a good progressive field to use updated, but haven't been able to find one. Now back to this game. I wanted to go to this Cubs action because we're going to see a couple of prospects for us. Nolan Jones being the big one. Nolan Jones is our top prospect at third base. However, he did miss a lot of last year in AAA with an injury, so that might hurt him in terms of his chances this year. And we do have Jose Ramirez, so I'm not entirely sure if Jones will get some playing time at third base this year, I'd be more than content at keeping him in AAA, but I did want to give him some spring training at bat since he was on the 40-man roster. Later in the inning, the first inning, nothing happens as there's a strikeout looking by Zimmer by Arrieta. Now on the mound for this one will be Shane Bieber as well. So after his bad first start, he gets another chance here. And another reason I wanted to take a look at the Cubs is because they made a couple of big signings this offseason. The biggest one, they brought in shortstop Carlos Correa on a 5-year, $130 million contract to be their new shortstop. They did lose Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo in free agency, but Carlos Correa of the former Houston Astros will help in that regard. His first bat we see as a Cub is a strikeout cutter missed on the full count pitch. He will go down. In the second inning to start off, there is Michael Conforto as well, another Chicago Cub, signed a 3-year, $13.5 million contract to come over from the New York Mets. I thought that was a steal of a deal for Chicago as well, so he'll help their outfield. On his first at-bat of the day, he grounds a 2-2 pitch the other way. There's going to be no play at first, so he gets the second inning started off with a single. But then nothing really happens as Wilson Contreras hits this one to left field, but it's going to be caught out there for out number 3. Top 3, here's Nolan Jones again. He draws a full count walk on his second at-bat, so he takes first base. Bobby Bradley gets to start at first base today, full count to him, and he also draws a walk. So Arrieta walks 2 batters here in the third with 1 away. Next batter up, Bradley Zimmer, 1-0 pitch, gets a nice sinker to hit, hits it to dead straight center. It'll be caught, but Jones will be able to tag and go to third. So that'll put runners on the corners looking for our first run of the ball game. It's Jimenez, 1-0 pitch, but he hits it over there to third, thrown to second. No score through 3. A little bit later into this one, Phil Maton will step up to the mound. Also a guy who could potentially be fighting for a roster spot. He had a very good postseason, not a good regular season. Jason Hayward comes in to pinch hit for Chicago. He's still there in the Cubs despite the Michael Conforto signing. And the 6th, though, he grounds out to second base for the second out of the inning. Next batter up, Matt Duffy. 0-2 pitch to Duffy. He swings through a high fastball. So Maton with a nice 1-2-3 inning here in the 6th. And we'll jump to the end of this one. The Spiders win this one by a final score of 3-0. Got a pinch hit home run by Perez that helped us out. And then Andres Jimenez and Austin Hedges gave us the other RBIs. Now for the rest of the episode, I'm going to be doing some player locks with certain players. And the first one I want to do is Tyler Freeman. Now, Freeman last year was our second baseman after we traded away Cesar Hernandez. He appeared in 41 games and only hit a $160, so might have been a little too early to call up Freeman to the majors last year. If you remember, he only really spent time at AA. Didn't really have, maybe had a couple of handful of at-bats at AAA, but he went straight from AA to the majors, and it might have hurt his development. So now that we've signed Donovan Solano, I want to give Tyler Freeman the opportunity to fight for his major league spot, but if he's not ready for it, then we won't go ahead and call him up. He gets a nice test here in this one as it's a home matchup against the Dodgers. His first at-bat was a strikeout from Walker Buehler. Then he draws a walk from Julio Urias. Now on first base, Oscar Mercado, a nice outfield prospect, gets a single to right field. It is 5-1 Dodgers, by the way, here in the 5th inning. Urias still on second base with 2 outs for Jose Ramirez. He chops this one up the middle. It'll be fielded, but he's going to beat it out at first. So a nice bases loaded opportunity for Franmil Reyes, our best hitter in you want this situation. And he just pops this one up. So Freeman doesn't score on this one. But Freeman right now 0 for 1 on the day. Next batter up is from Tony Gonsolin. He gets a nice curveball to hit, but it's hit right to right field. So Freeman, who was hitting 250 coming into this one, just can't really get the ball to fall. But here in the 9th inning, he gets a nice base hit off of Kenley Jansen over the head of the left fielder. So Freeman gets extra bases right here with a double in the 9th. Now keep him on second base. Next batter, Brian Rocchio, another prospect who's getting some at-bats here in spring training. He will hit this one into left field. He gets waved home, and Freeman at the plate will be safe. So he scores a nice run here. Nice RBI single by Rocchio in the 9th. But it would not matter as the Dodgers end up winning this game 5-4. Jensen holds on for the save. And the Spiders will drop it, but Freeman, he went 1 for 3 in this game with a double. Next game I want to go into is against the Milwaukee Brewers. And in this one, we're going to highlight a pair of relievers. I have already mentioned them this episode, but it's Cal Quantrill and Phil Maton. I don't know if I'm going to carry both on the opening day roster, so this is a little bit of a position battle. Now, Cal Quantrill was good in the regular season last year, but struggled in the postseason, while Phil Maton was the opposite. He did not do good at all in the regular season, had a 6.53 ERA, but he was very good in the postseason, so it's like, which one do you go with here? We'll see Cal Quantrill first. He's made 17 appearances this postseason, or in this spring training. He has a 2.70 ERA to show for it. 19 strikeouts in 16 and 2/3 innings is very good. First batter he sees is Christian Yelich, though, as Cal Quantrill inherits the runner on second. That is an infield single for Yelich. Then we'll see the newest Brewer, Corey Seager, at the plate. He draws a walk. So now Cal Quantrill has bases loaded, no outs, and it's Keston Hiura stepping up. Hiura is 0 for 2 on the day. This is a nice opportunity for Quantrill to hold on to a 3-run lead. And he gets a nice fastball over the middle on a full count pitch. It's hit deep to center, will be caught. However, the runner on third will be able to tag. And it's now a 4-2 lead for the Spiders. Still only one away. Trey Mancini up next. Remember, he was acquired last year via trade from the Orioles. He pops this one up into center as well, and that'll be deep enough for another base runner. So Quantrill gives up 2 sacrifice flies, and that'll be all for him. He gets pulled here in the 6th. Later, though, Phil Maton will come in for his audition. He's only had 11 games appeared, 9 innings, 3 ERA, so slightly worse than Cal Quantrill. His first batter is Hernan Perez, and he grounds this one over to third base. Ramirez has it, throws him out at first. Nice first batter for Maton. Logan Forsythe, the pinch hitter, up next. He lines this one up to center. That one's going to be caught as well. 2 outs. And the third batter, Ovar Narvaez, strikes out swinging. So a very good inning here from Maton. He gets to the 8th, and the Spiders end up holding on to win this game as well by a final score of 6-5. So we saw both relievers. They both looked decent. Cal Quantrill had the better stats going in, but Maton had the better game. We're going to go into one more game at this spring training. It's actually the last one as we sit at 15-11 hosting the 19-7 San Diego Padres. And the last player I want to take a look at is Yu Chang. Now, Yu Chang hit very solid in his first semi-full season as a major leaguer. Hit 282 in 63 games. He did get hurt in the month of September, though, so he wasn't available in the postseason. And so far this spring training, he's only hitting 158. Now, the reason I want to highlight Yu Chang is because going into spring training, I thought for sure he would be the utility infielder. He can play first base, second base, third base, and shortstop. But he has not had a good spring training, and one player who's had a good spring training is fellow first baseman Bobby Bradley. So what wasn't really a position battle at the beginning has made me really start to think, do we go with Yu Chang or do we go with Bobby Bradley as kind of like a first base backup? I think we do have an extra roster spot for position players since we won't carry both Quantrill and Maton. But who necessarily do we go with? We do end up losing that game to the Padres 5-3, and we finished the season 15-12 in the Cactus League. Overall, not too bad, but at the end of the day, it is the spring training, so the records don't really matter to an extent. It's just getting your players some playing time. And the last thing we'll do this episode is take a look at stats and do our send-downs. Here's your look at some spring training stats. Some good performances, some bad performances. Naylor hit pretty good. Bobby Bradley did very good in spring. He hit over 300. Ahmed also hit 341 in his appearances. Bradley Zimmer, 286, trying to fight for a backup outfield spot. He did pretty good as well. And then a couple others to go around. Didn't really see some of these bottom players. Pitching-wise, I thought we did okay. Plesac, 292 ERA. Bieber, 464. That's not Bieber characteristic at all, as well as Savali, who had a 547 ERA. So our top 2 pitchers at the top of our rotation didn't do good at all. Hopefully that's not a thing to come, but the pitching was kind of up and down this spring. Now we'll go to send-downs. We're going to start off with Nolan Jones. I do want him to start at AAA, just no spot on him. We are going to go with Maton, so Cal Quantrill will be sent down to AAA. Maton wins that battle, but Quantrill could easily be called up. Freeman, who only hit 173 in spring, is obviously not ready for Major League pitching, so he'll get some good AAA work to start the season. Lester Mercado, a good, intriguing backup center fielder, will also go down to Columbus. Ben Gamble, a veteran who is still on the payroll, will be sent down to AAA as well. And then I am going to send down Bobby Bradley. I really thought hard about this, but Bradley is younger. Chang has more Major League experience, but if Bradley can continue doing what he was doing in AAA, he will hopefully be called up to the majors in no time. And Yu Chang, just give him, he does have more position flexibility to start. Here is our rotation and bullpen to start the season. Clase and Hicks will be both our setup men, followed by Karinchak at closer. And here's a look at right-handed hitting. We got Rosario, Solano, Ramirez, Reyes, Rosario, Eaton, and right field Perez, Naylor, Jimenez. And then for lefties, it'll be about the same, except instead of Eaton, you will see Luco at right field. So they will platoon out there at right. As on the bench, it'll be Yu Chang, Owen Miller, Austin Hedges, and then Bradley Zimmer. Start off the season next episode, and we get to see the Chicago White Sox to start the season on opening day at Progressive Field. And obviously the Chicago White Sox made the biggest move of the offseason, signing Freddie Freeman to a mega 6-year contract worth $186 million. The defending 2-time NL MVP, we will get to see him in the very first game of the season. That is exciting, as the White Sox look pretty solid this season. Now, lastly, I do want to close the episode by kind of looking at some other teams to keep an eye on this season. The Yankees, who didn't make any really big moves in the offseason, they are still your favorites in the American League. Another team to look out for is the Houston Astros, the team that made the World Series last year. They still look pretty solid. They did lose Carlos Correa in free agency. They did replace him with Jonathan Villar. So the Astros are another team to keep an eye on in the American League. As far as the National League goes, got to start off with the New York Mets, the busiest team in the offseason. Made a couple of huge signings in Trevor Story, Chris Bryant, as well as Christian Vasquez. So 3 big-time hitters coming in for New York. They did lose Michael Conforto, but they might have been able to make up for it with their signings. Now, at hitting, you have Lindor, Story, Bryant, Christian Vasquez, Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil. So I don't know how you play all those players. I don't know how you pitched all those players, but the Mets might be a favorite in the National League now to give the Dodgers a run for their money. Here's a look at their 3. You see Story, Lindor, and Vasquez. Remember, we had some interest in Vasquez, but still ended up going with Perez instead. And lastly, the Dodgers, the 2-time defending World Series champions. Can't sleep on them. They didn't really do much in the offseason, but you didn't really have to when you're the defending World Series champs. So let me know in the comments section below your predictions for this season. Let me know what you think the Cleveland Spiders will do this season, as well as what is your World Series prediction. I'm going to go for it. We got to go for it all this year. I think we're going to make the World Series against the Dodgers. That is my prediction. If we win the series, I don't know, but I'd love to see your Spiders in the World Series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.